This OG team is more powerful than ever for Great League. I'm telling you, you have to try it out. Altaria up in front, Azumarill with Stunfisk at the back, and how often do you see a Stunfisk nowadays in Great League? I bet you don't see any, but with this team Stunfisk can really make the best out of itself, and you can see here that we are starting off the video with Altaria on the mirror. So Altaria is definitely getting more spotlight every now and then, and I think that with this team it can lead this line pretty much effectively. Now with Azumarill coming into the game, we can easily survive whatever they throw, while we're just gonna keep completely farming down the remaining HP that they can provide to us as energy. So you have just seen my IVs and they are not looking that great overall. Of course we're having some pretty good IVs, but they are not the best. You can always go for even better IVs and this team will perform much better, I guess. So now we managed to get on the Hydro Pump for Bastiodon and on the Playra for Azumarill. I realize here that perhaps Stunfisk is gonna be my main way to victory, especially when they still have Bastiodon into play, and my opponent decides to go here for the bait. This is not gonna work because I want to keep my two shields for the very end game and my Galarian Stunfisk. Here is the Poke Trap. Let's see how this is gonna go with those Rock Slides as we're trying to drop them severely low. I also realized at this point that one Earthquake would not seal the deal, and I want to go for one extra Rock Slide, and now my opponent will try to catch the Rock Slide on Bastiodon, but we know much better. Here comes now Earthquake for the big nuke, and of course now Azumarill will return. This is the perfect opportunity for me to go for the shield on the Hydro Pump, so they still had that move. That is insane. No play rough on this Azu, and they still managed to lose because we made some crazy calls into the next game. But as we're hopping into this battle with a very bad lead against Bastiodon, I want to ask you something. What is your favorite team from the OG seasons? So I think that this is one of the best ones, but if you have something like a Meganium in mind, feel free to write down in the comment section. I guess this is gonna be absolutely awesome. So now with the Hydro Pump over that Bastiodon, we managed to do so much work on that Pokemon, and now on the switch we're meeting up with Gligar. Dig here will connect, but still we can survive. This is after all a very bulky team and we do not have any clear weakness. I guess that the only clear weakness that you can find with this line might be something like an Abomasnow, because the ice typing will hurt your Altaria a lot, while the grass typing will absolutely demolish your Azumarill, and of course it has a pretty solid battle against Stunfisk. However, not a lot of Abomasnows exist in the meta. Anyways, able to completely farm down here with our Azumarill, and now after having my new haircut here, we are just gonna switch out on our Stunfisk. This Pokemon now with energy can go to town, and especially when we can grab that final shield out of play. However, this is not happening because my opponent definitely knows what they're doing, and I'm just gonna almost throw this battle with those Rock Slides. So this is getting severely crucial. Now Sableye goes for the foul play, and I need one more Rock Slide before they fire off any charge attack at all. Now I can easily switch out on my Altaria, try to catch the move, but let's see if that is gonna be enough, because foul play will finish us down. Bastiodon returns, and all we need to do here is to protect our Stunfisk from further harm, while I do not want to get any more damage at all. I want to rely completely on my ability to completely farm down that Sableye. I was hoping to do so, and guess what? We can, surviving with one single HP. Into the next battle now with Altaria up against the Mandibuzz. Hopefully our whole team is gonna be pretty strong against those dark types, and especially Mandibuzz, which is a flyer. Now with those dark pulses they can do some decent damage, but we always have access to Moonblast as my opponent is switching out on Quagsire. So at this point I was lagging. As you can see, FPS dropped for no reason. My phone is not brand new, but still it is supposed to play Pokemon Go at a high level, and of course my internet connection stands at 300 Mbps, which is absolutely awesome if you ask me. Now with the Quagsire coming into the game, I guess that Azumarill needs at some point to emerge, and since we can survive pretty much whatever they throw, we're just gonna go for the finishing blow and our play rough. Down goes their final shield. This is absolutely crucial as we're trying to get the upper hand not only on the shields but also on the closing part with our Stunfisk. I'm gonna keep my Pokemon for the very end game since they might be severely weak to our Stunfisk after that Quacks are going down, and as it seems they are, so they back down, and I can only imagine that there were something like I don't know, a dragon type, a flyer, something like a lantern remaining, so they immediately back out as soon as they see my Stunfisk. Shadow Dragonair now into the next one. This Pokemon will get to the meltdown by our Dragobreaths, and we can survive their own since we're looking at a bulky Altaria. So here comes now a move from that Skarmory, not gonna be a Brave Bird, which means that since no Brave Bird is coming up with a debuff, I guess we can easily survive it, and of course we can go safely for the Hydro Pump. They're not gonna switch out. Now going for the Brave Bird, down we go to the move, and Shadow Feraligatr emerges. This is getting now severely crucial for me because I want to get on the double Sky Attack, but they also have 2 shields remaining. Hopefully we can take both of them shields out of the game, but we can definitely not outspeed to those charge attacks with our Stunfisk. This Feraligatr has a ton of energy. At this point I guess a double Hydro Cannon. I realize that I need to get my hands on the Earthquake at some point, but my opponent messes up. They decide to keep their energy, and now with Skarmory at the very end, we can easily deliver the lethal blow and of course get another huge victory. So Magnezone now is a very bad lead for us, but we still need to stay in there with our Altaria and call the bait. I'm not gonna block anything, I will just let my Altaria go down, but here is where I make a crucial mistake. Not the Moonblast, I'm all in for the Moonblast, perhaps they take the move, but I go for the switch. This is absolutely horrible. We bait out of there something like a Gligar, I guess, but at the same time we are in a very bad spot. We might have the shield advantage, but still now that Magnezone definitely has at least 2 of those wild charges ready to go, so we might be in a pickle. Here comes now my Rock Slide to drop them severely low, and perhaps we can get the chance here to finish them off, but my opponent is counting my moves, so they're gonna always throw on those CMPs, and down we go since I do not want to spend any shield at all on this individual matchup. Cresselia at the very end, and as it seems my Stunfisk could have been much better at the very end, but yeah, it is what it is, and we're just gonna face now this Grass Knotter for sure. So the first one will connect, gonna drop us very low at the point that we are on the 50%, and we cannot risk getting hit by another one. So this Cresselia now will get to the move, we need to start blocking, and another one immediately right after. I was not expecting that at this point, but I was expecting the switch, and my opponent is not gonna go for this. So Altaria now gonna get on its Sky Attack to finish off Cresselia. Finally down they go. Gligar returns, but at this point not only they can finish off my Pokemon, they still have the shield and of course the energy needed to one-shot down my Azumarill. No matter how much bulk we have, Shadow Wild Charge will always connect for the knockout. Into the next battle now with the Galvantula up in front. This Pokemon is always a troublesome one for our Azumarill, but for the other 2 Pokemon absolutely manageable, especially for my Stunfisk. Right here they decide to go for the lunge, and now I'm just gonna get my hands on the Sky Attack before they can go to another move, and this time the Discharge most probably. So I decide to let the move go through, I guess, but instead of that Discharge they go for the Cross Poison, and they catch me off guard. Down I go with my Altaria, I do not want to spend any shield at all here, we are already severely debuffed, we can farm the remaining energy with this with our Galarian Stunfisk and get out of here with a fairly good amount of energy. Down goes the Electric Spider, and now Sableye comes into the game. Even with the debuff, Earthquake has to do about half, it does less than that, but it is what it is, and we managed to catch on the 6th Shadow Claw the foul play to into our Azumarill. This damage is resisted and we still preserve our shields for the very end game. Skarmory now goes into the battle, but I guess that Hydro Pump here can do so much damage on their end. They have to go for a Brave Bird if they want to finish us down, but I guess that Azumarill can still hold on with those shields. We managed to block correctly the move and now we can get on the play rough to finish them down. Let's see what they want to do. Skarmory gets out of the way. They want to rely completely on Sableye, and right on the CMP we get on that play rough. So Shadow Sneak here will finish us down, and just now I realized, not even at this moment, now I realized it, this is not a purified one, so they do not have a return at all. Anyways, now with the Rock Slide we can easily do severe damage to their final shield, and one more will most likely guarantee the victory here, so down they go. Into the next game now everyone, and let's see how this is gonna go since Altaria will face an Annihilate. So this Pokemon is always kinda troublesome because of its weird moveset, and sometimes it gets a boost with the first Night Slash, which is just a nightmare. So we're meeting up with Greedent on the Switch, and this one will spam its way to victory I guess with the crunches, but first we managed to catch one Bolt Slam, which is actually a very good opportunity for us to survive a little longer against that Pokemon with our Stunfisk. At this point they are still gonna get their hands on another crunch to drop us very low, but we have access to one final move before we go down. After all those defense drops, I guess that they can easily farm us down with those mud shots, but it doesn't matter at all. I'm just gonna return to the battle with my Altaria, try to survive the following charge attacks while I can easily farm down in the process with my Dragon Breaths. Before they go down, of course we're gonna lag, and still they get to the Body Slam, it doesn't matter at all. They also got to two more of those mud shots, that was scary at the moment, and now they have Dugong at the very end. I hate my luck over here. Not only we lag, but we also have some terrible matchmaking. Anyways, now with my Azumarill I want to rely completely on this Pokemon and of course finish them off at some point. As you saw there, that was not a CMP, but still we cannot deliver the finishing blow with our bubble because of lag, and now Dugong returns into the game. I know here that if they get their hands on those Icy Winds we might be in a pickle of throwing those play roughs, but instead they start throwing the Drill Runs, and Azumarill can somehow flip around that very bad matchup that we're having. Because of Drill Run we're gonna get severely low, but still the Ice Shards will never be enough to finish us down. I decide to catch the move here on my Altaria. That was risky, but they had to throw no matter what, and right after we have access on the play rough, and after all this lag we still managed to deliver the lethal blow with our Azumarill. Into the next game now with Vigoroth up in front. This Pokemon is always bad news for flyers, but hopefully our Altaria here is bulky enough to survive even one Rock Slide. So this will put us at a kinda low situation, but we can still survive one charm here while we're gonna respond on this Wigglytuff with our Azumarill. To be honest, that was not a mistake. Of course, Stunfisk could have been a much better matchup for that Charmer, but I was thinking that perhaps they're having a double charm backline. Whenever I see a Pokemon like Wigglytuff coming that easy into the game, I can always imagine that they want to bait out my Steel type so that the second Charmer can be much stronger, or they just have something like a Shadow Victory Bell for me. So that's why I throw my Azumarill into the game. I realize here that I can easily block and still farm down this Pokemon, and instead of having something like a Charmer, they have this Lantern, so the battle is definitely not over yet. And not only that, but they also have the shield advantage. So my Rock Slide here will go for the bait, and they call it correctly. In this video I go for the baits all the time, and that is a very bad strategy. Things could have ended much easier for me if I was gonna go straight for Nukes. Of course it is always situational, it is always on the mood of the opposing trainer. If they still don't rot, so I'm not gonna take it with a rough beat on my heart, so instead I'm just gonna keep going at it with a commentary. Now with the Sky Attack and the Altaria, we finish off that poor Vigoroth, and Lantern cannot farm down at all, so Dragon Breath will connect for a lot of pressure on their end. Into the final one now, we saw before an Altaria, we saw a Shadow Dragonair, but we didn't see a Dragonite in action. So Dragonite here is gonna charge up a little bit and then switch out on Leaky Tank. This is still kinda fine for us, but I was lagging a lot and I could not switch out on time on the first time, but here is on the second and we managed to catch that Body Slam. I was trying to charge up a lot of energy in the process on my Altaria, since I know that Stunfisk can still provide a lot of pressure on Leaky Tank if we play this correctly. So at this point Power Whip will connect, but we do not care much, we can still go for the Earthquake at any point and finish them off, and they managed to catch the move on Registeel. This is horrible for them. Perhaps they thought I was gonna go for the Rock Slide. This is not happening. So that is gonna be all for today, trainers. Thank you for watching, for sticking around till the end. It really means a lot for my channel. Before you go, leave a huge like, subscribe to the content, and I hope to see you all into the next one.